Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Well guys, common problem. Many students find it difficult to read all the listening questions in the time which is given in listening test. Like in the beginning they say, you now have some time to read questions 1 to 5. Right? Then they go on. Before you hear the rest of the recording, you now have some time to look at questions 6 to 10, 7 to 10. Then there is part 2, then there is part 3, and in part 4, in the beginning they say, you now have some time to take a look at questions 31 to 40. Okay, and then the lecture starts, it goes on non-stop. So many students find it difficult to read the questions within this given time, and when you don't read the questions within the given time, you cannot find the answers, because 70% in IELTS listening module, finding the answer depends on the understanding of the question which is given on the question booklet. If you don't understand the question, answer will come and go, and you and your pen will not even move, you'll not budge an inch. Okay, so anyway, this video is all about that. Now let me tell you, when IELTS test starts, in the beginning they have few, what you say, formalities. Like Cambridge IELTS, you're going to listen to a number of different recordings, you will have time to read the questions and check your answers. All the recordings will be played once only. At the end of the test, you will be given 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet, blah blah blah. Now when the test starts, the first thing which you have to do, you need to review all 4 sections. I'm telling you, these tips are solid. Okay, for example, you look at section 1, questions 1 to 10. All right, one word and or a number. Section 2, okay, multiple choice. All right, there's a map. All right, there are multiple choice along with matching. Section 3, oh my God, full of multiple choice, and there are 4 matching type of questions. Section 4, one word only. All right, test is pretty standard. So this should be done within 5 to 10 seconds, right? And then come to section 1 and read the questions. Now don't read more than they tell you to read. If they say, you now have some time to take a look at questions 1 to 5. Now don't try to read questions 1 to 10 during that time, because if you do that, most definitely you're going to actually read something that they will give you time for that. Okay, and one more thing, yeah, I forgot to tell you. When they start this test, immediately go to part 4 and take a look at the question and try to read first 4 or first 5 questions. And how to read the question? The way I solve in my videos, underline this word, underline that word. So you need to just read 4-5 questions of part 4 beforehand. Now when they start with part 1, and you should know, it's some students, what do? They carelessly read questions 1 to 5, and then they look around and they're waiting for the audio. Come on, play it, honey. Play the audio, right? Once I was conducting a mock test, and there was half minute to read the questions, and one student raised his hand. Sir, your audio system is not working. I said, focus your test, it'll work. Okay, so be careful. It's not that in 10 seconds you read the question and you're looking around. Wow, gorgeous girl sitting on that chair. Wow, what a beautiful girl there, huh? Not like this. Okay, focus your test. In IELTS listening test, you should be like this, just focusing here. You don't see there, you don't see there, you don't see there. You know what I mean? Okay, now, so half minute to read that question. At the end of each section, they say you now have half a minute to check your answers. And guys, I tell you, in the end of the test, they will give you 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. Those 10 minutes are ideal to check your answer. You know what do you have to check in your answer? You just have to check the spelling. You just have to check if you missed anything or anything like that. So 10 minutes in the end of the test or at the end of the test, that is ideal time to do that all. When they say that is the end of part 1, you now have half a minute to check your answers. Move on. Read the questions of part 2, and especially questions like multiple choice, right? Matching, read them carefully, right? You read the questions and then they say part 2. you're going to listen to a conversation between this and all that, or you're going to listen a commentary about bus tour and all that. So then you need to go on. And again, part 2, questions 11 to 15. Then there will be a pause, and then they will play the audio questions 16 to 20. Now, at the end of section 2, they will say, that is the end of section 2. You now have half a minute to check your answers. Who wants to check answers? They are all good. You are intelligent people. Move on to part 3. In part 3, there are multiple choice questions. Read the question with options, and when you read multiple choice options, underline clue words. And these clue words, what do they do in part 3 multiple choice questions? They make the option long, very long option. What do? They add prepositions, they add a lot of articles, and the. I read one multiple option, there were 3 articles, the book of the. So you need to ignore that. Just focus nouns, verbs, adjectives. That's it. Underline a couple of words that make sense. I mean, the words which are key words within multiple choice options, because when the audio is going on, you will not have time to read all these options. You will just take a look at those words and decide which option is right and which option is wrong. And in multiple choice questions, it's very important to eliminate or cross the wrong option, and then you'll be left with the right one. So, audio will go on questions 21 to 25, and then it'll say you now have some time to look at questions 25, 26 to 30 and all that. By the end of section 3, you'll say, okay, you now have half a minute to check your answers. Now, half minute there and 1 minute of part 4, that makes it 1.5 minutes. Now, 1.5 minute this, and already you read 3 to 4 questions. So the questions which you have already read, skim through those questions and then start from questions 35, 36, 37. And guys, I tell you, in part 4, I've given some wonderful tips. Sometimes comma. For comma, they use the word along. For and, they use the word not only but also, and then there is the answer. And then there are some words. I mean, there are some words and they use synonyms of those words in the audio. So please focus my videos on listening part 4 and you'll be clear, and the audio will go. And one more thing. In part 4, you need to encircle some words which will help you track the audio. If, for example, on the question booklet, they've written New York. Now, you've encircled New York. When they say, well, now we are going to talk about New York, the audio is there. Next, they've written 1921. Say, well, in 1921, something amazing happened. The audio is there. In part 4, sometimes audio goes. Audio and the students on the question booklet, they are not synchronized properly. Okay, I know this because when I edit my videos, so I have to synchronize my voice with the movement of my lips and all that. So synchronization means on the question booklet, you are there where the audio is in listening. So if the audio and you on question booklet go at the right time, at the same time, then you will not miss your answer. And for that, you need to encircle some big words like New York or any other word. Sometimes can be the name of a process, name of a city, name of a scientist and all that stuff. Like this, you will do part 4, and then they will say at the end of part 4, there is the end of part 4. You now have half a minute to check your answers. So what do the students do? They pick up the answer sheet and they start transferring the answer. That's good. But otherwise, if they don't allow you to do that, you can just read your answers, because questions 31 to 40. And one more important thing. Questions 31 to 40, that's one word only. Sometimes one word and or a number. So please be extra careful with spelling. Right? I mean, you should be extra careful with spelling. If you are doubtful about the spelling, just see the person sitting next to you or behind you and don't ask them for the spelling. If you ask for a single spelling, invigilator notices that your IELTS test will be cancelled. I'm telling you. Right? One of my students complained, sir, my brother had his IELTS speaking test and they cancelled his test. And he only asked one word from the person sitting next to him. Only one, sir, only one word. I said, okay. you are expecting that you ask 2 words and then they cancel your test. So be careful, right? So this is how you need to go on. And then when you transfer your answers to the answer sheet, make sure if it is answer is a label A, B, C, D, use capital letters. If answer is a word, I advise you to use all capitals. C-A-T, cat, capital C, capital A, capital T, right? If there is a number, write the number carefully and clearly. I mean, your writing must be within the box. Nothing should be outside the box. Left, right, top, bottom, nothing should be outside the box, because examiner will only get your listening answer sheet and then markers will check your answers and give you the bench score. All the best, guys. Thank you so much. I also teach IELTS online and in campus in Lahore, online all over the world. If you wish to join my online or in campus IELTS classes, and we offer IELTS test booking service, you stay home, just call us and we will book your IELTS exam as per your requirement, UKVI, academic, gender training, and all that. Okay, so for that, my WhatsApp number is given. You can contact me for that. Asad Yaqub wishes you best of luck wholeheartedly. Take care. Allah Hafiz.